Coming up on Aggie Sports Overtime, now that the NFL draft is over, the hard work can begin. All three Aggie first-round draft picks have begun their NFL careers with their new teams. We'll go to rookie mini camps with Johnny Manziel, Mike Evans, and Jake Matthews.
A beautiful day to be on the diamond. The Aggie softball team hopes to pull off an upset at the NCAA tournament against former Big 12 foe Oklahoma, while the Aggie baseball team tries to avoid a sweep in the final game at home.
And on the links, two Aggie golf teams have both punched their ticket to the NCAA championship. We've built this show up just like they build a new Kyle Field. Aggie Sports Overtime starts right now.
Welcome to Aggie Sports Overtime. And now, here's Luke Simons and Chris Vallejos.
It might be the middle of May, but the NFL world, as well as myself, are getting a little giddy now that rookie camps have started. I'm Chris Vallejos with Luke Simons.
Yeah, that giddiness is especially high over in Cleveland, where the Browns are desperate for a winner and wondering if Johnny Manziel is going to be the guy to finally make that happen. Johnny took the practice field for the very first time with his new team. It almost doesn't seem right seeing him in that Browns uniform. But today, Manziel's career is officially underway with the Cleveland Browns. Now, before minicamp began, Browns owner Jimmy Haslam told the media that Manziel enters the summer as the team's backup quarterback. He will be behind the team's top returning QB, Brian Hoyer. After today's first workout, Johnny Football said he doesn't really mind working as a backup, but it is also evident he's willing to work his way up and try to compete to try and earn that starting spot.
Took it in stride. For me, I'm a rookie. I need to earn my place. I need to earn my keep. Nothing here needs to be handed to me. I don't need to be treated based off what I've done in the past, because that doesn't mean a thing at this level. So I was completely okay with hearing that from everybody. I don't want to come in and have anything handed to me that I don't deserve. It's been a long road to get here, and getting past up 21 times is never fun. And obviously some of those teams weren't going to take quarterbacks, and we knew that going into it. But still, I mean, it's even humbling to be the second quarterback off the board. So for them to say that and come in and say that, I don't think I need to be humbled. I realize where I'm at in this organization and what I need to be doing, and that's all I'm really focused on. I think it's a great opportunity for me from an organization. People wanted to win here, and you got a sense of that. They're tired of losing. They're tired of not having success. And I felt like, for me, if I came here, the team had pieces. I watched this team last year. It was better than the year before. You have Pro Bowlers on the field. You have guys that are playing a lot better and playing a lot harder. I mean, I think they're tired of losing as well. So if you get that attitude and you mix some right pieces into the puzzle, you have a chance for success. So for me, I felt like with the coaching staff, when I came in, was similar to something that I ran with Coach Sherman. That was something that caught my eye, walking in and seeing a board with plays that I already knew on it. Coach Shanahan, being a young coach, kind of similar to what I had in college. Great offensive line, receiving core that has a lot of playmakers and still continuing to get better, and a defense that was 9th or 10th in the league last year. So you look at some of the other options or places that I could have potentially went. This one caught my eye in those few areas.
From one interview to a man that never shies away from one, Mike Leach paid a visit this week to the Brazos Valley, speaking to the Brazos Valley Bar Association. Now, although Leach does have a law degree, he is most known for being a college football head coach. Leach coached many very good to great quarterbacks over his time, and of course, one of the big questions this week, whether or not he thinks Johnny Football will be successful in the NFL.
You know, anybody enthusiastic and fearless like he is, I mean, that's a lot of what makes him. That's a lot of what provided the success that he's had.
Manziel and his rookie teammates will finish their 3-day minicamp on Sunday.
Now, one of Johnny's favorite targets while he was in Aggieland was also at an NFL rookie camp on Friday, and that's wide receiver Mike Evans. Number 13 was the 7th overall pick in last week's draft by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. New head coach Lovie Smith hopes that Evans will help a Bucs offense that actually ranked as one of the worst in 2013. Now, while it's still early, Evans feels comfortable already.
It's going good, just getting my feet wet, all the vets, you know, welcoming all the rookies in, you know, like brothers, you know, like equals, and you know, just trying to get my feedback with.
Yeah, what is the most important part of these 3 days for you? What does Mike Evans want to accomplish?
I just want to learn the offense as fast as possible and get caught up to speed with the rest of the guys.
Mike, do you feel you had an advantage? You got to work with the vets for a couple days before coming in with all the rookies.
Yeah, me and a couple other rookies, you know, got the upper hand on the new rookies, but you know, I guess it ain't fair.
How would you describe this? How would you describe this rookie camp in terms of just everyone coming together at once? It seems still a lot of calmness out there, a lot of business-like approach.
Yeah, it's fun. You know, everybody's competing. You know, just going out there having fun. You know, defense is flying around, trying to get every ball out. You know, even when you're walking back to the huddle, they're trying to get it out. But you know, it's just fun.
In terms of the coaches, what's the perspective coming from them that you get?
They're just teaching. You know, they're just teaching us what we need to do on this route. You know, what we need to do on this play, and you know, just how to get better.
Over in Georgia, Jake Matthews is trying to get acquainted with his new team. The Aggie offensive lineman was the highest Aggie taken in the draft, number 6 overall to the Atlanta Falcons. Right after having his name called, Jake actually flew to Atlanta, has been working ever since. Last week, he did have some time with some of the veterans. Now he's on the field with the rookies, and it has all been a whirlwind.
These first couple days, I mean, when I got here about a week ago, it was insane. You know, they give you the playbook, and you're trying to go through all this stuff, and then the vets are here, so you're trying not to look like an idiot when you're out there doing stuff. But I'm picking up on it, and I you know, starting to feel real comfortable, especially in these rookie mini camps, because you know we're keeping it so basic. You know, I feel like it's already the back of my hand. I understand it, and just got to keep learning, and then hopefully pretty soon be ready to roll in with the vets.
Now, Dallas Cowboys rookie camp is also underway, and Aggie running back Ben Molina is on the field trying to impress head coach Jason Garrett and his coaching staff. Molina was actually an undrafted free agent. He says the jump from college to the pros on the practice field is not that drastic, thanks to the example that was set to him by his 2 coaches at A&M.
You know, I would say the toughest part, just being a pro. But I think the luxury that I have is playing under Mike Sherman and Kevin Sumlin. They both established a pro environment at A&M, so coming here to, with the Dallas Cowboys, is basically the same thing.
Your initial reaction when you got the phone call that you'd be joining this club, I mean, what was going through your mind?
A lot of things was going through my mind, a lot of things. One main thing was just me just wanting to go out there and prove myself. The other thing was I think I'm a good addition to the team to help this team win championships.
What do you, I guess, a lot of competition on the field, what do you have to do to do whatever, special teams or whatever to make this team?
You just got to splash on film, That's one thing that coaches are looking for is who jumps out to them on film, whether if it's finishing every run, catching every ball, picking up every pass protection, being the first one on special teams, doing anything and everything you have to do.
Molina was one of 8 Aggies that signed a free agent contract. We'll see if they can all earn a permanent spot later on this summer, but I can tell you one thing, it is odd not seeing them wearing the maroon and white. Got to get used to that a little bit.
I don't know if we'll ever get used to that, though.
Yeah, it's tough, but hopefully good luck to them throughout the rest of the summer. Now, later on in Aggie Sports Overtime, why one Texas A&M Regent believes the new Kyle Field should be called the house that Johnny built, and what Manziel actually had to say about it.
But coming up next, senior day at Bluebell Park, well, it turned into a slugfest. How the Aggies held off 16th ranked Ole Miss when Aggie Sports Overtime returns.
Welcome back to Aggie Sports Overtime. The 3rd Saturday in May was also the last time the Aggie baseball team hosted a game at Bluebell Park.
After losing the first 2 games of the series against 16th ranked Ole Miss, the Aggies played for SEC tournament seeding and their seniors. 5 to be exact on this year's Aggie squad. For the 3 that aren't pitchers, well, they had a great day at the plate. One of those seniors, Cray Bratson, the Bryan native, gets things started in the 2nd inning with an RBI double, brings in Nick Banks, game tied at 1. Then in the bottom of the 3rd, the 2nd senior, Troy Stein, smacks an RBI single. That scores Cole Langford, giving A&M a 2-1 lead. Bottom of the 5th, Aggies up 4-0. It's Bratson again. Drives it to left. Blake Alamon heads to the plate, maroon and white, with a 4-run advantage. But the 6th inning, well, that didn't go so well for Texas A&M. Ole Miss knocks in 4 runs. This is the 4th, and that went high. Bratson loses the ball in the sun. That scores 2 Rebels and ties the game at 5. Ole Miss scores another on a fielder's choice in the top of the 7th. But in the bottom of the 8th, Jay Statham at third because of a fielder's choice. Logan Knottybrook gets a sharp bouncer to third. A wild throw towards second allows Statham to score. That's the third senior. We promised you he scores the go-ahead run. A&M would add 3 more in the frame, and the Aggies win on senior day 9-6.
Well, just all these kids, when you start talking about the seniors, they've given us 15 years, and that's a long time. That's a decade and a half, and you know, just all that they've given our program and the athletic department, the university, and the community. They've represented them in a first-class manner. And you know, Cray, I've said it before, he's the best defender I've ever coached in 23 years, and that's saying an awful lot because we've had some really good outfielders at Texas A&M and even at Nebraska.
I want to do everything I could in my last day here, and I feel like I did that, and I'm very proud of what I did. I'm very proud of the other seniors, and overall, I'm happy that the team got a win for the seniors that we're going to leave on here.
A&M loses the series but wins the finale on senior day. The Aggies score 4 runs in the 8th inning and out-hit the Rebels 11-10. Troy Stein had a pair of hits and RBI as the Aggie bats heat up in their final game before the SEC tournament. Aggie Sports Overtime reporter Chris Costa looks ahead to next week's tourney.
So with the 9-6 win on senior day, the Aggies finished the regular season 33-23, and now they set their sights on the SEC tournament.
Our message is if there's a trophy and a ring on the line, we're going to win it, and that's why we're going to Hoover. Our expectation is to win that tournament. You know, belief, and I think that's key, is just believing that we're a team that's to be reckoned with in the postseason.
One senior with a big day for the Aggies was center fielder Cray Bratson. Bratson grew up miles from Bluebell Park and hopes the momentum from his performance today will carry over to the postseason.
You want to come in any game with momentum, and like I said earlier, you know, beating the #1 team in the SEC, that's going to carry big waves in going to the SEC tournament, and hopefully we do really well there and see what we do in the regional.
It's baseball. You know, anything can happen, especially in the SEC. You know, we're just, you know, a couple games out of just, you know, being there, and that's what baseball is. Anything can happen. We got to keep this momentum going to the SEC tournament and, you know, play our game, play Aggie baseball.
Honestly, we just need to keep doing what we're doing. I don't really think we need to change anything. Just keep the momentum up. We have everybody healthy. Just try to do everything you can do. Don't get outside yourself. Just do what you've been doing all season long, and I think we'll be just fine.
So the Aggies look forward to their first round matchup of the SEC tournament on May 20th in Hoover, Alabama. Reporting at Olson Field at Bluebell Park, Chris Costa, Aggie Sports Overtime.
Thanks, Chris. The Aggies head to Hoover for the SEC tourney, where they will open up play against Arkansas. That game will start approximately at 1 o'clock on Tuesday, as long as the first game doesn't go to extra innings. You will remember A&M lost 2 of 3 at Arkansas earlier this month.
Now, how about some Aggie softball? The Aggie softball team playing Oklahoma Sooners at the NCAA Regional today. A&M down 4-0 in the 5th until Amber Garza blasts a 3-run home run over the wall in center field. Just like that, the OU lead cut down to 1 in the 6th. Bases loaded with Aggies. Callie Lanphier pinch hitting. This ball has a chance, and yes, it's gone. Grand slam home run gives the Aggies a 7-4 lead, but OU would cut the lead down to 1 with 2 outs in the 7th. Bases loaded. Brittany Williams looks like it's going to be the final out of the game. Instead, it's an error by Jenna Stark. That allows 2 runs to score. And talk about heartbreak for the Aggies. Oklahoma goes on to beat A&M 9-8, giving the Aggies their first loss of the tournament. Now, because of that loss, the Aggies had to play again tonight. For the second straight day, A&M beats Hofstra, this time 7-0. Amber Garza and April Ryan had 5 hits, 3 RBI combined. The Aggies stay alive in the Oklahoma Regional. They will play the Sooners again on Sunday. Now, in order to keep this thing going, A&M will have to win 2 times in order to advance to the Super Regional round next week. That first game between these former Big 12 foes begins at 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon. A&M definitely has a little bit of a hill to climb if they want to keep this season going. Now, still to come, we hear what A&M's last starting quarterback thinks of Kyle Field being called the house that Johnny built.
But when we return, the Aggie men's and women's golf teams are national championship bound. We go one-on-one with women's coach Trell McComb on Aggie Sports Overtime.
Well, if college golf teams are playing in the month of May, it means things are going pretty well, and right now things are going well for the A&M women's golf team. Here to talk about it is Trell McCombs. First of all, Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Talk about how the NCAA Regional went for you It was interesting, snow, interesting weather, but the girls really pulled through and finished tied for 6th, moving to the NCAA championship.
They did. They absolutely did. The weather was crazy. It was interesting because the sun was shining, but yet we had snow flurries. So I'm not quite sure how to make of that, but they pulled through. They did a great job. Second day was probably our toughest day of competition with the weather. That was just really a day of survival, and you could tell that amongst all the scores of the team. But otherwise, I think they stayed pretty strong and pulled right through.
When you guys went to the SEC championships, you talked about having a lot of young members on this team who hadn't gone through that type of grind. How impressed were you with what they learned from SEC championships to that NCAA regional?
Well, I think the kind of the kicker for that was when we were in the SEC championship and we're tied for, I think, 10th going into the last round, and they suited up and they finished 7th. That said a lot to me about their fight and what they have in them. And they realized that not only from the SEC championship, but also from the University of Georgia tournament, that being left out of that top 8 doesn't feel very good. So they played upon their experiences and they fought through it.
How much did you see this team grow even more at the NCAA regional, and how is that going to set you up for going to Tulsa? You guys leave today and end up getting started in the NCAA championship on Tuesday.
Yeah, well, I think for the most part, there's that level of, okay, we made it, now we're there. But this team really wants to compete. They don't want to just say, okay, we made it to nationals. They really want to compete and compete hard. And we've practiced all week. We've practiced certain par 3 yardages because we know the yardages before we go there. We've also practiced the types of yardages we'll have into the par 4s. So I think we're very prepared to not just be there, but to compete as well.
Talk about the course you're going to be playing on over in Tulsa. I know Texas teams and Oklahoma teams, you tend to know this area pretty well, so it's not going to be that foreign, especially to you and some of these players.
Right, and Tulsa Country Club's a fantastic venue, especially for women, because it's fair. It's in terms of the yardages. They can set it up to where we can hit just about every club in our bag, and that's what you want for a championship. You don't want a golf course that you're just hitting the same clubs over and over again. So it's a fair golf course. I've played it several times, having been at Tulsa, and I think if it's in as great a shape as it was when I left there, it's going to be a fantastic championship.
Talk about mentally, how do you feel this team is going into that, and the excitement, and especially at a time where with school being out, this is their focus. I mean, they're basically professional golfers right now. Exactly.
With school being out, it's one of those that we check that off our list of things to do. It's just golf right now, and these 5 have been together this whole entire week, practicing together. We did special drills that you had to complete as a team, which builds that camaraderie, and it sort of builds that, hey, I got your back, sort of sense of the team, which is what we need in golf. Because it's such an individual sport, it is hard to develop that team atmosphere. So you have to do special things in order to get that together.
Coach, thank you so much for joining
us,
and good luck on Tuesday. First round gets started. Of course, we'll keep you updated on everything happening with the A&M golf team over in Tulsa. We'll throw it back to Chris.
The women en route to the national championship, and for the 7th straight year, the men are also. The Aggie men's golf team finished 3rd in the NCAA Raleigh Regional Saturday. A&M is the only program that finished in the top 15 at the NCAA championships in each of the last 6 seasons. The Ags start play in Hutchinson, Kansas for the NCAA championship on Tuesday, May 27th. The winner is crowned on Sunday, June 1st. It's been a little more than 6 months since the Kyle Field renovation project began. We'll update you on how it's coming along. And Johnny Manziel responds to reports Kyle Field would be called the house that Johnny built. He's not an architect, but hear what he thinks when Aggie Sports Overtime comes back.
My vision is someday, I hope, that the Aggie Nation will come together and decide that we can revise the name of Kyle Field to Kyle Field, the house that Johnny built.
Those are some strong words from Texas A&M board member Jim Schwartner at Monday's Kyle Field update press conference.
Strong words that didn't sit very well with Aggies across the country while construction moves quickly. After 5 days going through the news cycle, Johnny Manziel commented on the idea during today's press conference at the Cleveland Browns rookie camp.
For me, there's so many other people that played into why we were good and why A&M is back on the map. It wasn't me. There's guys from Sean Porter to DeMontre Moore to Luke Jokel to Vaughn Miller to Ryan Swope to Uzoma Wachiku, and you can go Patrick Lewis. You can go down the list and coach someone. You have guys drafted first round for the past 4 to 5 years, and it's slowly but surely creeping up. And for me, I didn't do that on my own. I won the Heisman as a freshman, and that was a feat that had never been accomplished before, and it was incredible. But at the same time, I didn't do that on my own. I didn't win that by going out and playing 1-on-11. And I'm thankful for all those guys that helped me get to this point I'm at today, and I wouldn't be here without them. So just speaking on that, there's so many other people that have factored into why I'm so popular and why I'm so loved at Texas A&M.
I think a lot of Aggie fans were relieved to actually hear Johnny say that himself. He gave credit to everybody else but himself, and I don't think he'd like the name change at all.
He had all the right answers in that press conference, or at least that interview the Browns conducted. Let's call it that.
Yeah, definitely, and it's good to see him doing so well. Now, we also want to mention Isaac Spencer helped the Aggies to a runner-up performance in the 3,000-meter steeplechase at the SEC Outdoor Track and Field Championships. A&M qualified 13 athletes in 5 events for Sunday's finals, which take place in Lexington, Kentucky.
As for the Aggie women's tennis team, they lose to North Carolina in the Sweet 16 4-0 on Thursday in Georgia. A great year for Howard Jaffe and the ladies.
Of course, we want to leave you with a look at Kyle Field. This is courtesy of KyleField.com. Amazing how much is going on over there. I want to thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend, everyone.